Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, names Russia's real enemies. Can you guess who they are? Well, I can tell you this. He doesn't name the Ukrainians. He reaches the same conclusion. I don't think he just reached it yesterday. He said it before in more veiled way. It's obviously the Western so-called elites who are fighting using Ukraine, Russia. I have this article from Russia Today, and I have Putin's statements. So this is from the 1st of January 2024, Russia Today. Putin names Russia's real enemies. Ukraine itself is not a foe, but Western elites backing it are. Right here. The Russian president has said. So, Mr. Putin, are those Western elites still your partners? He even said that partners, to call them partners about what, 2 weeks ago or so. I mean, those guys want to pull a Gaddafi on him, and he still calls them partners. Now, I don't think the term fits the reality. That's why. I mean, you can call them however you want. I don't know, baby dolls or something, but still, the reality is not there. They're baby dolls. Correct? Correct, I think. Ukraine is a mere tool in the hands of the collective West, which is using it to fight Russia, President Vladimir Putin on Monday said. He was speaking at a military hospital in Moscow where he met servicemen wounded during the ongoing conflict. Asked about the enduring Western support for Kiev, the president said the elites of the collective West were actually the true enemy of Russia rather than Ukraine itself. As well, see, he is not an, how should I put it, he calls, at least here, who's who, what's what. He calls the elites. He doesn't call you or I, because he knows that we are actually shackled by these guys who are also shackled by the interests, who are in charge of the so-called elites now. What are the elites? It's a little bit harder to say. You can pinpoint the interests and then the people who represent those interests. Remember in college here I had a book. Where is it? Oh my God. Is this the one? No, that's not it. It's one of these books. Let me see if I find it. It's about the elites, the 300 elites, supposedly, of the US. The classic readings, that's not it. Anyway, he's talking about the elites, not the people. And I'm quoting here, the point is not that they are helping our enemy, but they are our enemy. They are solving their own problems with Ukraine's hands. That's what it's all about. So again, the point is not that they are helping our enemy, now he calls the Ukrainians enemies, but that they are our enemy. They are solving their own problems with Ukraine. But he said, merely, Ukraine itself is not a foe. All right, well, the conflict between Moscow and Kiev was orchestrated by Western elites who seek to defeat Russia, he suggested. I totally agree with that one, so you can suggest how much you want. However, the collective West has been unable to achieve its goals, with the failure already showing in the change of its rhetoric on the conflict, the president explained. And I'm quoting Putin here. Those who only yesterday were talking about the need to inflict a strategic defeat, quote unquote, on Russia are now looking for words on how to quickly end the conflict. And I'm quoting, we want to end the conflict too, and as quickly as possible, but only on our terms. But only on our terms, like the other guys want on their terms. So that's why they met. Unfortunately, they didn't meet. The other guys sent the Ukrainians to meet the Russians in order to see who's stronger. We have no desire to fight forever, but we are not going to give up our positions either. The battlefield situation is now changing despite all the aid Kiev has received from the West, the president observed. Russia has been effectively outproducing the entire Western Alliance military, he suggested, with the country's output destined to grow even further. Now, I don't think the West switched its economy to a war economy, but I think they're in the process of trying that. After all, who's behind all this? Can't say, or at least partly. A big chunk of the reason why these guys are fighting over there is obviously money, power, and in this case, as I said, military companies. You got energy companies and the banks. And I'm quoting, despite the fact that from time immemorial, the West, let me show you, the West had such a goal to deal with Russia, it looks like we will deal with them first. So despite the fact that from time immemorial, the West has had such a goal to deal with Russia, it looks like we will deal with them first, Putin stated. You probably, I'm quoting again Putin, you probably see it on the battlefield, and they are gradually deflating. When a shell flies, it is probably difficult to tell whether they are deflated or not, but in general, you probably know the situation on the battlefield is changing, and this is happening despite the fact that the entire so-called civilized West is fighting against us. And I'm ending the quote. He told the serviceman. I think that he's right about that one. I mean, I've been saying that for some time, and believe me, Putin did not call me to let me know. It's, I think, too obvious for people who want to look at evidence, good or bad, or how should I put it, good or bad. When you try to find out what the hell happens, you can just, or happened, you can't just push to the side. You start with a narrative or with a goal, this guy is good, and then you try to get only the evidence that shows that this guy is good, and just discard the evidence that would oppose the this guy is good narrative. So it's not hard to look around and see who's who, what's what at all. You just have to pay attention and memorize and make patterns. It's not hard, but most of all, be objective. Get the information. Don't start with, oh, Putin is bad. Okay, Putin is good. I can make any person on this planet be good or bad by accepting certain information and discarding other information. I get 2 or 3 examples of all of us, that we did something that was not right. And I mention only those examples. Therefore, we are bad. Or if I want to make all of us angels, I can mention 3 examples of doing only good things. Therefore, we're angels. But that's far from reality. Reality has nuances many times, and you have to look at the context. It's not like black and white. For that, read other kind of books and dogmas. According to Russia's latest estimates, over 380,000 Ukrainian troops have been killed or wounded during the conflict. Ukraine has also sustained heavy material losses, with an estimated 14,000 tanks and other armored vehicles destroyed. Nearly 160,000 troops losses were during Kiev's botched counteroffensive launched in early June last year, Moscow claims. Again, see, Moscow claims. They could have ended up like BBC and others right here, the last thing. Moscow claims. They could have stopped, eliminate that. That's why when these guys from Russia Today or from Sputnik, I read their articles, they mention that. Whereas if you have CNN, MSNBC, Fox, they usually don't mention this guy claims. And they put in quotation marks whatever someone they don't like said something, or just like, I know the quotation marks purpose, so, but it's just according to he claims sometimes, and sometimes for the Ukrainians they just give you they did it. Not claimed, they did it. When it's about the Russians, yeah, the Russians claimed, but those are the enemies. When it's about our people who fight for our interest, or not their interest, that's what I mean. It's a done deal. That's what it is. The same Moscow here, right, is on the side, or rather, Russia Today is on the side of Moscow, and still says Moscow claims. Now, if these claims would have been made by, let's say, the claims with the 14,000 tanks would have been made by the Ukrainians, And this guy would have definitely say Moscow claims because the Ukrainians are the enemies, right? Even though Putin said they're not. He knows that who's behind who and all this garbage. And unfortunately, as I said many times before, it's the cousins fighting for interests that are not there to support the Ukrainians. They work on, how do you call that? The illusion that their interest and the Ukrainian people's interests are the same. And on the foundation of a history between the Russians and the Ukrainians, they try to tap on that kind of partly hateful angle of their relationship, not on the positive, because there were some positive and negatives. I mean, again, we're not going to talk about good and evil just like religious terms. There are some good things and bad things in any kind of relationship. Rarely they are, just bad, 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 bad. Or good, 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 good. Those are just United States of America and its boss. Good, good, good. Okay, so we know who are the enemies, at least according to Vladimir Putin. No surprise here, but it's, I think, the first time when he says it straight like that. He said it veiled in other interviews. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.